Daniel Trotter is our next guest. He's a certified peer support specialist. It's National Recovery Month. The month of October is National Recovery Month. And you have a story. I love success stories like this because you're not just doing it for yourself. Now that you've gotten to a point where you know you had a problem and you've overcome those obstacles, now you're trying to share your story and help others who may be in a similar situation that you used to be.
Yes.
Can you give us a little backstory of your journey and how you got to this point?
Sure. You know, I had my first cigarette at 7 years old, pretty young, and that just kind of, you know, went from one thing to the next. We might not think that, you know, one thing is a big deal, but over time, you develop more habits, more addictions. At about 28 years old, I'd say that got to a point where I'd had enough and decided to change my life and went into health and fitness, became a certified trainer and went down that avenue. But about 8 years in, I was, you know, there was just still something missing in my life. I had been sober for 8 years, I had a business, I was married, I had all of these things in life, but I felt like something was missing, and that's when I went out to the woods and I actually did a 30-day fast that completely changed my life. And after that, ended up moving to Salt Lake and you know, wrote a book and said, hey, I think it's time to give back and start helping people.
Okay, we're going to end with your book. I want to get to that because that's where people can actually have tangible help from maybe your story and things that you've gone through. This is a question, I already know the answer to this question, but I want to ask it so that people at home can understand our conversation. When's a good time to get help?
I think any time's a good time to get help, but I think the person has to be ready. You know, I think you somewhat hit that rock bottom, and I think rock bottom is, you know, you get to a point in your life where you'll do anything to make a change. Mm-hmm. You'll go that extra mile, that length that you need to.
Why get into a job that reminds you every day of where you came from and now that you're giving back to people? Well,
it was tough, actually, to be honest with you. It actually took me a few times to write the book because of those memories that were jogged physically. I could feel it, and it was nerve-wracking. But I just felt impressed that I needed to help, and that I had learned some things that maybe some others don't know yet, and that it was perfect timing to where it was time for me to give back.
So now that people are hearing this and they say, you know what, I know someone that had a similar situation, I want to get that book. What are they going to find in the book, a different kind of strong? Well,
they're just going to find, you know, just an ordinary, you know, average guy that got into multiple addictions and finally got to a point to where wanted to change. And there are some lessons in there. It's not like a checklist, but there are some lessons that I've learned and the things that help me not only get through it and overcome it, but to continue to stay on the right path.
What about those who are dealing with opioid prescription? What's the first step? Obviously, admitting that you have a problem, but can you talk a little bit about that kind of addiction and the help that's out there for them?
Yeah, and that's a tough one. It's very hard for people to come off of that. It's physical, and so they're going to need proper help, proper treatment, proper detoxification in order to go to the next step, and then the support is going to be important.
Now, it's not new to us that we've seen these shows on TV that they have interventions. Have you ever had any cases, are there cases right now that are that serious where you have to intervene in someone's life? Or basically there's people out there that just need the information?
I believe sometimes there is. You know, it doesn't mean that it's going to work, because it's going to be up to the individual that's going to say, you know, I am ready to do this. And sometimes, I think a lot of times the interventions that fail, it could probably be that the person isn't ready to make that step yet.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Great information. Author and activist, a different kind of strong. Where can we find this for people that want to pick it up?
Yep, you can find it on danielltrotter.com, and you can order it there.
All right, we'll put a link on the website to make it easy as well. Just go to fox13now.com. Click on the place.
Seriously injured? Call Robert J. DeBryan